terrorists. Can't stop my reign to terrorize the power. Toast stars, new king in his crime, y'all better cower. War.
I declare war. A couple of weeks ago, I was on Facebook and I saw this video by Reverend James Manning. And I'm going to allow you to check it out right now, and then I'm going to provide my commentary on the other side of the video.
And we need to begin to acknowledge it, talk about it, ask God to help us, because only God can help black people where they are. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy, not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone, all of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa, the worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation. They don't know how, and we need to admit it. I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem. Nigeria produces oil every year, yet children over there are hungry and pot-bellied and walking barefoot. We got a problem. You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk. And forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa, Nigeria. Look at what y'all have done in Harlem. You can't even hold on to Harlem. You got a problem. Black folk don't understand the world. You can get mad with me all you want. You can say what you want. You can't prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this because I hate black folk. I'm saying it because I love you enough to tell the truth. And the only person going to ever help us get out of the situation is going to be God. There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind. He does not understand the world. He doesn't. I don't care if he learned medicine. He doesn't understand the world.
So you saw the video. In the video, this man claims that Africans have built no stone structures. He claims that Africans don't know how to govern themselves. He claims that Africans didn't build any seaworthy ships. And in this video right here, I'm going to debunk a lot of these lies that this man said. See, this man is ignorant. And really, this video is declaring war on the system that produces men like him. We have been programmed to hate ourselves. We've been programmed to think that the white man is God and that we are devils or we're savages. That's what we've been programmed with. We've been fed a diet of minstrels and thuggism and thuggery. We've been fed that kind of diet. We've been fed a diet of Tarzan and Little Black Sambo. You know, so we have been programmed to hate ourselves. And even some people that profess to be about the community suffer from this programming. You know, you had this one man that's created a whole documentary series about black people, but yet this man makes mockery of someone for being dark-skinned. So self-hatred is pervasive in our communities. We've been programmed to hate ourselves. just like James Manning has been programmed to hate himself, himself. Now, the point that he made about Africans not building stone structures is absurd on his face. He mentioned Egypt, and he tried to suggest that Egypt was not black, that it was not a black civilization. Well, there's plenty of evidence that refutes his assertion. You have the evidence of the monuments, the statues of black men and women that makes it clear that Africans, black Africans, ruled in Egypt. You have the hieroglyphics that depict African kings and queens ruling and reigning in Egypt. So it is really absurd to suggest that Egypt was a white civilization or that Egypt was not even in Africa. Any kid that studied maps, they're familiar with the fact that Egypt is in northern Africa. That's uncontested. Only a fool would argue otherwise. And, you know, before I go further, I just want you all to know that I've done a book review on my main channel, New Possibilities, that really goes in depth about this issue. So I recommend that you check that out, and I will include a link in the description box to this video. So that's the first point that I wanted to make, that Egypt is a black civilization. And it's obvious that the Egyptians, the black man, built pyramids. Those are stone structures that have stood the test of time. They have been in place for hundreds and thousands of years. So the suggestion that Africans haven't built anything is ridiculous. And our greatness, our accomplishments aren't limited to Egypt. We built pyramids in the Sudan. In fact, there are more pyramids in the Sudan than there are in Egypt. We built monuments in Ethiopia. There are monuments in West Africa. Several of the greatest empires to ever existed in West Africa. You had the Mali Empire, you had the Ghana Empire, you had the Songhai Empire. And in Southern Africa, you had empires in what's known as Zimbabwe today. And there are monuments in all these places, monuments to our greatness as a people. And there are monuments still being uncovered today. Many of our great monuments are beneath the ground and are still yet to be revealed. But we are a great people. We are a great people, and we've built many things. And this whole notion that Africans did not build seaworthy ships is ridiculous as well. There's a book by Alvin Van Sertima. And the book is titled The African Presence in Ancient America. They Came Before Columbus. Our ancestors traveled to the Americas before Columbus and well before the slave trade. There's no way that we could have traveled such a distance without creating seaworthy ships. And this book lays out how Africans created seaworthy ships. And it also points out how there were monuments dedicated to African people in the Americas that established the presence of Africans. Big stone heads with African features, obviously African, undeniably African. So this notion that we're savages is absurd. We didn't only create monuments in our own continent of Africa, There are monuments to our greatness all around the world. All around the world. So I just wanted to end on that note. You know, it's just important that we liberate our minds because many of us are still in bondage mentally. And it is a disgrace that somebody with so much ignorance and a lack of knowledge is a pastor of a church and has many followers and supporters online and in their congregation. It's ridiculous to me. See, people like this guy Manning have been programmed to worship white people. They've been programmed to see white people as their Lord and Savior, as their God. So this man kept talking about turning to God. What about turning to yourself and to your own people and to the true God? But you've been programmed to idolize white people to such a degree that you would prefer that white people rule over Africans because you think that Africans are incapable of ruling over themselves. We've had plenty of great civilizations before that white man even came to Africa. We had great civilizations when the white man was walking around in caves. We don't need any white man to govern us. There's nothing wrong with the black man's psyche. The thing that is wrong is when the black man has no knowledge of self. That's the problem. With knowledge of self, we can become the builders again. In fact, we are building today. You have great African Americans who have achieved despite many obstacles. We are the survivors. We are a great and mighty people, and we need to stop perpetuating this self-hatred and this ignorance. Peace.